Hey YouTube, this is Ozark's brother Jerry. It's about 20 degrees outside. I think got down to maybe 13 this morning. It's cold outside. But this week's portion is Mishpatim, which means laws. It encompasses Exodus 21:1 through 24:18, which is the whole chapter. As an overview, we have So Mishpatim means laws, and we have a number of laws here, which include the treatment of servants, laws against violence, laws about repayment, laws of human relations, laws concerning the seventh day, the Sabbath, and the seventh year. We have the three festivals: the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of Harvest of First Fruits, and the Feast of Tabernacles. We have Elohim's angel, which was to go before the people and guide them. And we have Israel agreeing to the covenant with Yahweh. And finally, Moshe goes up the mount to get the stone tablets. So when I do a Torah portion or read anywhere in Scripture, I look for ways to apply it in the environment I'm in. I mean, why read Scripture if we're not going to try and apply it to our lives? And maybe, I should look at, well, I'm convicted. I should look at things more closer to home. But this time, I was really thinking about abortion. And I don't have any ovaries, but this kind of really hit me. But I'd like to look at a couple of verses, which are Exodus 21:22. And Exodus 23:2. So Exodus 21:22, if men strive and hurt a woman with child so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. So this is the fruit of the womb. Okay, this is in fruit in the BDB, it means child, son or daughter. But, it's a positive thing. So, and then, we have to consider, the 10 words. Exodus 20:13 is thou shalt not kill. So So that kill means, if you look it up in the Brown Driver Briggs Concordance, it means to kill with malice. And malice, the English word malice, if you look it up, it means extreme enmity of heart or malvalence, a disposition to injure others without cause, from mere personal gratification, or from a spirit of revenge, unprovoked malignity or spite. So from mere personal gratification. What, bingo. How much, you can't get any closer than that as to what abortion is to gratify that person. So you say, well, it's legal, abortion's legal. It's a law. Well, Exodus 23:2, which is in this portion also, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. And then I'll read the whole verse. Neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. But I'm talking about the first part of it here. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. As a manager, I had a couple of classes which involved the movie The Oxbow Incident. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's where a group of people go to lynch someone. And for some reason, when you do it with a bunch of other people, you kind of lose, responsibility for what you're doing. And that's what Exodus is talking about. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Just because everybody else is doing it, that doesn't mean that you got to take part. And it doesn't mean that you won't be released, from full responsibility. And, just because the civil government says it's okay doesn't mean it's okay. This is where Islam and their Sharia courts have it right. We should take a look at that. And in Acts 5:29 goes, then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey Elohim rather than men. So, that legality of abortion doesn't apply to us if we're the fathers. So, if you're paying attention, we have a plethora of abortion legislation this week. Cuomo, the New York governor, just signed a law to murder infants up to 40 weeks of age. Delaware followed suit. Not to be outdone, Virginia, the former bastion of the Army of Northern Virginia. How can you get any more conservative than that? Man, those people are gone. Of course, I'm sure that's up north around the D.C. area. But anyhow, until yesterday, they were considering what they called the Repeal Act. And this would have repealed most abortion restrictions in Virginia. This act would allow 40-week abortions and worse. So I had the 40-week abortions just like Cuomo in New York and then Delaware had, but worse. So I want to read a short interview to you from the governor of Virginia over this Repeal Act. And this is from the Federalist from today, thefederalist.com. And this is Governor Ralph Northam, Northan. When asked about the controversial late-term abortion bill presented in Virginia's House of Delegates this week, Governor Ralph Northam, I guess, said a full developed child born in the third trimester would be kept alive, but the physician and mother would get to discuss and decide whether to take its life or not. If a mother is in labor, the infant will be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So the mother and the physician, after this baby is born, full-term pregnancy, they're going to get together and make a decision about whether this baby should live or not. The pro-abortion crowd always say we don't understand or we're taking legislation out of context. But this is pretty plain right here what this is. The radio host interviewing the governor, Julie Carey, did not bother to clarify what he meant by resuscitated, or whether this just meant mother and a doctor could choose to kill a baby after birth. A baby would have just taken their first breath. The Repeal Act, presented by Delegate Kathy Tran, a Democrat, would reverse many of the state's current abortion restrictions and would allow women going into labor at 40 weeks gestation to be eligible for abortions. Northam reiterated multiple times in an interview that he believes more than one doctor should have to certify a late-term pregnancy eligible for abortion, a restriction that Tran's bill would reverse. Wow, so we get two doctors to sign off on it, we can kill this baby. It's just doctor shop, till we get what we want. I think it's always good to get a second opinion for at least two providers to be involved in that decision, because these decisions shouldn't be taken lightly. So I would certainly say more than one provider, he said. Tran's bill removes the language substantially and irremediably, allowing doctors to terminate a baby by determining it would put the mother's physical or mental health at risk, and without a second or third doctor's medical opinion. This is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and the fathers that are involved, he said. When we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physicians, by the way. More than one physician, not physicians. Northam is clear that he believes it is up to a mother and two other doctors to decide whether another human is allowed to live or not. So, and I'm not saying that this baby at 40 weeks has any more claim to life than a fertilized egg at one day. I don't think so. I mean, I certainly can't prove that. But thank goodness, House Committee a House subcommittee in Virginia voted 5-3 to table H.R. 2491 called the Repeal Act. Now, just last Shabbat, I was accused of being brainwashed because I vote. Or at least that was one reason I'm brainwashed. But and the Torah observant crowd, in my opinion, seems to be worse about this than other groups of people I've been affiliated with. But this bill was tabled by Republicans that were voted on by voters like you and me. So it's important to vote. So, and maybe I shouldn't be doing this video right now. My wife and I just watched a movie called The Gray Zone. And it was a movie about Sonderkommandos. 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 And these were Jews who worked at Auschwitz, who were, in essence, afflicting their brethren. Like when they gassed a load of Jews, they would clean up the place, repaint it, and get everything back in order. And also they beguiled them into taking off their clothes and telling them to remember where their clothes were at, because after the shower they had to remember their clothes. And I'm not passing judgment on that either, because I've never been there under circumstances like that. But I just wonder how much of a Sonderkommando we are, as we serve up our tax money to murder the unborn in this country and abroad. So just something I was thinking about. So have a good Shabbat and study Mishpatim. See you next week.